I'm Nico Bouchard, and I do digital fabrications at MVRDV. MVRDV is an architecture and urbanism firm with our main office in Rotterdam, but we also have satellites in Shanghai, Paris, Berlin, and soon in New York. We're here to make an idea come to life, and by having 3D printers or FDM, SLA printers, laser cutters, CNC machines, digital fabrications really allows us to just create a physical interpretation of an idea that doesn't exist yet. Things you can hold in your hand are the best way to communicate something that almost exists. But to be able to do that, you need to have really quick print times. And the Ultimakers that we have, they max out at like 70 millimeters a second, which is nice, but usually turns into a 1 to 2 day turnaround time on a print. Whereas with the Veda systems, I can take the same profile or the same object and produce it in 2 to 4 hours most of the time. So it actually enables us to be able to create a physical model almost at the same pace as our digital modeling, which really makes it so that we both have the digital and physical component at more or less the same time. Models help the client get involved and actually make suggestions. Sometimes we get feedback to tweak certain things very quickly, and then we need to make a new iteration or set of options based off of that input. And we might have a meeting follow up the next day, a few days later. And having a Veda actually makes it so that you finish, say, your design at 11 o'clock at night, and then I'm probably still around, and you can throw it on a printer, and you have it for your conversation the next day. Really interesting since we've had the Veda system. I've had project leaders be like, oh, you know what, I didn't think about this one thing, but then I held the model and I was like, oh, actually this is a dumb idea and I want to change it this way. And having the physical thing there with us actually allows for greater perspective on the design object than only having the digital or only having the physical. The two really support one another. The first thing I've always looked into is how do you optimize the slice settings? How do you make the thing go faster? How can you change the firmware? So speed's always been on my mind, but we got into a serious problem because we didn't have the print farm capacity to produce at the pace that we needed. So we were really lucky that actually we were introduced to Veda to play around with their system to see how could we actually use a system where the hardware is optimized for speed rather than just trying to work with the software and the firmware. A lot of the architects were very speculative. They thought that the speed would automatically translate into lower quality, and then I started joking with them and telling them it was printed on an Ultimaker, and they couldn't tell the difference. And until I would say, actually, if I would have printed this on the Ultimaker, it would have taken 2 or 3 days, and I did this on the Veda, and look how the quality is. You can't even tell the difference, so we should be using the system more, and started educating more on the different ways of 3D printing, the different qualities of prints, these sorts of things. 3D printers provide an opportunity to kind of make model making a little bit more sustainable, and since the Veda system is so much more robust than anything else on the market, it just makes it so we can push things 10 to 20% further in that direction. Especially with like the latest set of upgrades. The thing is quieter than it was before, it runs super smoothly, it can put down more material faster. I don't really want another printer.